everybody. Welcome to episode 138 of the Alter Ego podcast. As you can see by the shirt that I'm wearing, if you're in YouTube land. Hope everybody's having a great week. With me, as always, Mr. Ryan.
How are you, sir? How are you doing?
All right. How about yourself?
I'm swell.
Mr. Rhino up there in Wisconsin.
Hello.
I had some of my drink go down the wrong pipe, so it'll be interesting. Hopefully I don't choke here on the air live.
Ryan knows the Heimlich.
Thank God.
I do.
It might need to go to mouth. Well, don't just jump up all at once. Oh, my goodness. Sorry we missed you guys last week. Kind of a busy one for me personally here with my little princess. But, you know, we're back. We're here.
He doesn't even have kids.
I don't.
Yeah, you just mix it up.
Hey, who said my little princess had to be my daughter? Football.
Men.
Anyway, yeah, we're back. We're here. There's a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Slow start, golly gee. But here we go. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Skip the last week because they had nothing, and then we had no show last week, and still here this week with a slow start. We have DC at the beginning.
Comics?
No, yeah, DC Comics, but it's not a comic, unfortunately. It's a comment from Zachary Levi that I felt I would throw to the peanut gallery here. Zachary Levi says that Shazam is like the Deadpool of DC.
It's not.
I heard that and I was like, okay, I like Zachary Levi. I think he's a talented guy. But I'm like, in what way? In what way do you think Shazam is like Deadpool other than the fact that he's kind of funny at times?
Comedic relief is the only reasonable explanation that he has for making that comment. That's it. Comedic relief. And it's not even in the same universe.
And I have a feeling if James Gunn is in charge, he's going to be one of many comedic characters because Peacemaker was hysterical start to finish.
To be honest with you, if there was a comparison between Deadpool and somebody from DC, wouldn't it be Peacemaker?
Yeah.
I mean, the way Peacemaker is done right now, yeah, probably him or Vigilante.
Yeah, I mean, one of those two dudes has to be DC's Deadpool.
If you have not
Vigilante for sure
seen Peacemaker, first of all, go see Peacemaker. Yeah, whatever your reservations are, if you think John Cena can't act, you think it's a silly story, you're incorrect. This story was very good for the level of hero that he was. Actually, I felt like it was almost, kind of the peak of where Peacemaker could go in terms of like powerful enemies. Yeah. And then you have Vigilante, who I think is just absolutely perfect. If anybody is the answer right now, that's not a villain. We're talking about Vigilante for sure. Now, I was like, is he just saying that to get a little attention from Deadpool? You know what I mean?
Well, he's got a movie coming out, so you have to say something provocative to try and draw a crowd in, and we all know how DC movies have done lately. So
that's my whole point. Is it because Shazam's coming out that he's dropping Deadpool's name? People go, oh, Deadpool! Yeah, I'll go watch this movie if it's like Deadpool.
Yeah, they just need to go look at DC's track record and realize that it's not going to be Deadpool. Nowhere near it.
I mean, DC's always been the more violent of the two properties.
I don't think so in film as much as in the comics. I mean, what DC property so far has been more violent than anything Deadpool's done?
Well, I'm talking. Sorry, let me be clear.
Peacemaker.
I'm talking MCU. Not
yes.
So I apologize. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yes.
In the MCU, there has been nothing really violent. But if you're talking about DC in talks of brutal violent, yeah, Peacemaker's it.
Yeah.
Batman has whooped a little ass in Batman v Superman in good fashion. Thorough beatings. I enjoyed the level of violence we got from that Batman. But other than that, like all the Dark Knight kills, I mean, they've had some pretty good runs. But yes, Deadpool broke the mold for everyone in terms of mainstream comic movies, in terms of violence.
I agree with that.
I got a question to ask Zachary Levi. Do you even shirt cock, bro?
Do you shirt cock?
He's not sure cocking it.
Nah, he ain't. Not Deadpool.
There's no way. He
Not better than
can't
Deadpool.
legally shirt cock it, and I wouldn't want that either because the alter ego's Billy Batson, and I don't need that kind of nonsense on my screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. Deadpool just got his lower half ripped off by Mr. Juggernaut. Not yeah. It was involved.
I think the only way he could legally shirt cock is if he went from Billy Batson to Shazam, but like the top half was still Billy Batson,
right.
and the bottom half was Shazam. Then he could legally shirt cock it.
Ugh. Let's move on, shall we? Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. This is kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? A hybrid video games and movies at the same time. You need an internet connection for single player. It just drives me insane. Why?
I think you're going to see a lot of this come out in the near future, where a lot more big titles are going to start requiring internet connections for single player mode.
And it's for live service. I get that, but I don't understand why you would need to have an internet connection to play a single player game. What outside effect could they have on the game itself that would require you to be hooked up to the internet? Because I'd be pissed if I lost power or whatever happened and I bought this single player game and I couldn't play it. That's ridiculous.
Well, let me offer this. I don't know if this is the case, but let me play devil's advocate here and offer a little bit of a response to this on the positive side. What if there is something built into the game where it will live report any kind of crashes or bugs or anything like that to the developer so they can start working on a bug update right away? I mean, if it's just a single player game, if it's not something that has multiplayer, it takes them longer to find anything wrong with the game. So you could be playing for weeks on end through bugs and never have an update. So if they're doing some sort of like live update, as the game is going along, I would be okay with that. I'd be happy with that.
You're not inspiring confidence to me if you're the developer and you're like, yeah, it's just so we can catch bugs because there's going to be a ton of bugs in our game.
I think it also comes from the fact that games are never finished really anymore, and that's
there you go. Yeah.
So it's going to be that A1 patch that you got to download so you can't get right to your game and have a 50 gig update to it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good too. You both have compelling arguments for it. It just pisses me off. It gets on my nerves.
I mean, even actually can't play that completely offline. I was going to say Monster Hunter was that way, but
yeah.
No, you can play that.
I mean, you're not wrong. It is irritating, but if there is something good that comes of it and they catch shit, as soon as possible, as opposed to having to wait weeks on end and read it through forums and Twitter, I'm all right with it.
But that to me was like that response that you had to Hogwarts Legacy. Like, it's not multiplayer, then I can't play it. And then I don't care. I don't want to have anything to do with it. And so to me, if it's like, oh, I have to have an internet connection, then I don't care. Why am I going to sit here and waste my time with it?
See, here's the thing, though. In 2023, how many people that game really aren't connected to the internet anyway?
That's true. There is a more prevalent thing. So maybe I'm sticking up for the little guy here who doesn't have internet.
If you guys,
but can afford a AAA $70 game.
Exactly.
to go back on what you were saying earlier too, if your power goes out, you're not gaming anyways.
Yeah.
I didn't say power goes out.
You did say power goes out. If my power goes out,
did I say power?
Yeah.
I meant to say internet.
Yeah.
I meant to say internet. Where were you on that one, dipshit?
I was like,
Mr. Gilmore, I'm your caddy.
I'm just rolling with it. I'm
no. I got
going to bring this back to. You're the king of segues, so I didn't know where you're going to circle it back around.
So Electro. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's get into some movies and TV, shall we? We've got Mr. Keanu Reeves, who trained for 3 months to do his own stunts in John Wick 4. Is it just me? I feel like that doesn't sound like a lot of time.
Well, when I read that article, the first thing I thought about was how awful the fight choreography was in John Wick 3.
Really? I haven't seen it.
It's so bad. It's Keanu Reeves, so I love Keanu Reeves. He's in my top 5 favorites of all time just because of the guy he is. But you're watching it, it's like, oh, Keanu, you are old, dude.
Keanu gets a lot of leeway from me in terms of his movies and his acting and his stuff. Like, he could still turn in a dog shit performance, and I'm gonna love it just because it's Keanu. But yeah, no, John Wick 3. I'm like, how do they still have story past John Wick 2?
They shouldn't have.
They're milking this one for all it's worth, and
They shouldn't have story for 4.
I mean, technically, I see where they're going with it. Makes a lot of sense.
You also love John Wick.
I absolutely do.
So there you go. I mean, I can see you making a case for it. Me personally, as an outsider, after he got revenge against the guy who kicked his dog, I was like, all right, well, this story's over here. We're good.
No, because then the guy came and brought back a marker because he came back into the game.
Uh-huh.
Then he refused that marker. And then he went and did it anyway. Then he killed the guy. Now everybody wants to kill him.
Jeez.
I think the biggest question here is how much homeless Lawrence Fishburne can we take?
A lot.
I love
A
it.
lot. I can take a lot of Lawrence Fishburne, man. He's another one who just like, yeah. Oh my God. In Ant-Man, he was one of my favorites. Lawrence Fishburne owns one of my favorite Marvel characters, period. Not because of Goliath, but because of his portrayal in Ant-Man 2. He changed the superhero game for me. I just love Lawrence Fishburne. So yes, I could see him being homeless for hours. The only problem with him is like he looked so homeless, but at the same time, he looked like he was rocking some geared hardware. The rugged yet stylish watches that are a perfect accessory for any man who's always on the go. Whether it's a board meeting or a bar fight or an assassin or whatever you want to call it, made with high-quality materials and backed up by a lifetime warranty, you can rest assured that your geared watch will be there for you when you need it most. Go to www.gearedhardware.com and use promo code ALTEREGO20 to get 20% off your order. Geared
Lawrence, if you need help filing your
No
warranty claim
No bullshit.
from the gutters of New York, let me know.
Let's do it. Get into it, will we? I mean, but 3 months. Listen, if they told me tomorrow, hey, Jack, you're gonna be a guy who's like in the lunchroom as a superhero's walking through a corporate building, I'm like, I'll start doing sit-ups now. Yeah, we're not filming for a year and a half. I heard you. I'm gonna start now.
I'm gonna be in the best shape of my life for that.
Like
role.
3 months. How much more training does Keanu need to do, by the way? Like right after the Matrix and all of his firearms handling there, and then John Wick 1 and 2. Now, continued education is an important thing, and if you're doing that for your own reasons, that's great. But training for the movie for 3 months, is that really like, oh wow, can't believe that? It's not like Daniel Day-Lewis when he shows up and he's a completely different person.
Well, hold on a second. Maybe the guy was just a little out of shape. Let him live his life.
I'm happy for him. I just want to know why IGN was like, oh yeah, look at this, 3 months.
Yeah, to me, still 3 months doesn't sound like that long a time, but hey.
Imagine how much we could accomplish if all we had to do was work out every day for 3 months and then shoot John Wick. It'd be great. This would be a lot skinnier podcast.
Yeah, it would.
We would be a lot healthier.
Yeah. Yes, a lot healthier, Megan.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies and things that would probably make you lose a lot of weight, Cocaine Bear opened up last week at $23 million.
Nice.
I don't know why people are surprised at that. It's about a bear that eats an exorbitant amount of cocaine and terrorizes human beings. What? Am I the only one hearing this?
No, it sounds like a great movie. Like,
It sounds like a great movie.
I will watch.
You know, a lot of people don't know that this is a true story.
It is.
a true story.
100%.
Yeah, it's a true story. Happened in the 80s.
Yeah. Isn't this Ray Liotta's last movie too that he's in?
Yeah.
That released? Maybe not like the last one he worked on, but the last one he released.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Ray. Chantix. I
did hear that, I don't know how true this is, but I saw speculation on Twitter that there's a sequel coming out called Cocaine Shark.
Oh, fuck.
I thought it was Meth Shark or something like that.
Can we not get a little bit more creative than that? Like
we're talking about creative integrity, and we're talking about Cocaine Bear.
You tell me that you don't want to go see the Crack Sloth.
I don't want to see a crack sloth.
Yes, you do.
No.
Okay.
He's already slow.
I'd actually watch a weed koala movie.
They have that movie. It's called Ted.
Give me the crack rhino.
Oh, God. No thanks.
Terrorizing a small village like the Hulk did in Age of Ultron.
Meth hippo.
Meth hippo. Yeah.
Meth hippo. There we go.
Now we're talking some supreme violence.
Yeah, I'll take meth hippo all day.
Everybody give us some more ideas for drugged out animals you'd like to see attack B-list actors.
Actually, there was one about a meth hippo. What was the name of that show? It was Honey Boo Boo.
I knew that was coming. Wasn't that called the Rosie O'Donnell show?
She was all backed up on Mountain Dew.
I think that was The View, right?
Yeah. Mahershala Ali, your best friend, Blade. He was originally supposed to play Joel in The Last of Us.
I don't know if I would have liked that as much.
He found out he had to be in Winnipeg in February.
Why did he in Winnipeg?
Because part of the most recent episode was in Winnipeg.
You know, and I'm looking at it in hindsight, obviously, and seeing how good of a job Pedro Pascal has done, but I think I would have liked Pedro more than Ali.
I do too. I like Pedro a lot. I think he has a lot of great range. Not that Mahershala Ali doesn't. I just feel like Pedro is really up there in terms of TV and availability and stuff that he wants to do. I think he's great. I don't think either one of them is necessarily better than the other.
No, that's not to say that Mahershala would have done a bad job. I think he would have done a good job. I just think that Pedro would have been better for it.
Let me go ahead and say this. If you haven't seen this most recent episode, episode 8, do yourself a favor. And I'll tell you that I see more of a Pedro-style actor for what happens in this episode than I do a Mahershala Ali, personally. Anyway, let's move on. By the way, go watch episode 8. It was really good. Rhino, go watch episode 8.
Is that the last one, or there's 2 more?
No,
right?
there's one more after that, episode 9. How far are you?
Episode 2.
No way.
110%, man.
I fucking knew that was coming. I fucking knew that was coming.
Like it, or because you want it to be done so you can binge it?
All right, so I wanted it to be done partially so I could binge it. Then the other part of it was I actually wanted to play the game.
That's right.
All right, fair enough.
I cannot bring myself to turn that PlayStation on and play it.
Then don't do it. Then watch the show.
So I'm just gonna watch it. I'm just gonna watch it.
I mean, you got one more week. Sunday, it's over. Well, season 1 is over. It's already been greenlit for season 2. Now, I'll say this at the beginning when we were first talking about rumors of this show, they were talking about something like $10 million an episode for production. 100% worth it. Worth every penny. They've got to have made their money back somehow. I don't know how that works because there's no commercials or anything like that in HBO. But I mean, they got to have made their money back. Another big property, Lord of the Rings, is getting multiple new movies in the works, and the studio wants Peter Jackson to return to do all of them.
Question, are they getting new books, or is this going to be entirely new creative content outside of books?
That's my question as well. Like, are you guys taking ideas? Because that's essentially what Rings of Power has been. You're taking ideas that were either old lore or whatever and moving forward with them. But like where do you go from here? Do you go to the future? Do you go to the past? I just don't know how you can do more Lord of the Rings when the rings aren't really a thing right now, right?
Well, Rings of Power, that was a prequel, correct? Because I didn't see any of it. Okay, so they would have to go into the future then.
So right, and the one ring
he destroyed it
is destroyed. So is there
you know what? I'm already gonna bet a buffalo nickel on this.
Is there another evil bedazzler
more rings
somewhere?
There's more rings. They're gonna find more rings.
They're gonna find another more eviler ring.
More eviler, yes.
This one is more eviler, and there's gonna be another golem.
And it's actually it's a 2-finger ring, so it has to go on
there
two fingers. There we go.
It's a Prince Albert.
Wow.
Oh.
How about this, guys? Lord of the Rings in the future, but this time it's a cock ring. Nobody wants to get it off of the guy. Nobody wants to do the deed, huh?
He's been walking for 1.5 years. No one's touched him. He's a one-man army.
He's been walking so much longer than Frodo and the other guys. Even the Eagles can't catch up. Eagles can't save you this time. A lot of people don't know this. Cock rings are a big bugaboo for large winged animals.
We're off to a great start today.
I don't know. I just whatever. Let's get it. Let's see it. There's a new series coming to Netflix, Pokemon Concierge. It's going to be a stop motion animation series coming to Netflix. What? I'm like, okay. I need to see more on this. Like,
it is somewhat new content. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It is somewhat new content, and it's a different approach to animation with the stop motion stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Stop motion.
Stop motion is where you literally like you have a figure, and then you move his arm like an inch, take the shot, move his arm an inch, take the shot, move his arm an inch, take the shot, and then you put all of the pictures together into one reel of pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, so the team up with Netflix has teamed up with Pokemon to bring a new animation series, Pokemon Concierge. The series will be a stop-motion anime series about a Pokemon concierge, Haru, and various Pokemon that visit. So Haru,
apparently it's like an island resort or something like that, and Pokemon come to this island resort and visit there. I don't know.
I can't wait to the 2-hour super special that we
sounds
do
terrible
on Pokemon Concierge. But speaking of Pokemon, wait, that's further on. Let's go to one more thing before we take our first break here. We are going to probably go a little bit long this time, gang, just letting you know ahead of time. I don't know why my voice cracked so bad, but it did.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Still writing that novel.
No, you deserve a break. You can take a break. You deserve it.
Okay, all right. Jon Favreau says he does not currently have an ending for The Mandalorian. Has anyone seen episode 1 of Mandalorian season 3? Ryan?
I still haven't seen episode 1 of season 1.
Why?
I
don't get that with you on
Bro,
that.
I'm a busy man. I got naps to take. I got things to do.
So unpopular opinion. Episode 1 of season 3 of Mandalorian did not grab me like episode 1 of season 1 and season 2. Now, I think there's more setup happening in this episode than anything. Yeah. And that might be why. But I felt when this episode ended, I was like, that's it? Maybe it's because the standard is so high. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved the episode. I'm happy to have that episode that feeling as opposed to thank God it's over. But I was like, man, that didn't feel like the typical season kickoff.
I was actually all right with that, though. I was okay with that. We didn't need the big flashy explosions, fight scenes, all that stuff. It set up a couple different storylines. It's got
we got a big flashy fight scene, 2 of them.
Well, the dog fighting, which I actually thought was amazing,
really good.
And then the standoff, that was about it.
There is a really cool dogfighting scene that happens in this episode, and I was like, oh, that's right, he's in a starfighter.
Yeah, like it's a Naboo craft. Yeah.
Anyway,
how do you what is the long version of Naboo? Is it Nebonese? Naboonanese? I don't know.
Naboosh?
Nubian.
Are you Naboosh?
You Nabooji? Stop acting so Nabooji.
Nubian. It can't be Nubian.
I think you should Google it.
Why not?
In the background. So here's a on TikTok.
It was just Black History Month. It's a possibility.
So first of all, Marvel is releasing a Mandalorian comic that will cover season 2. That's cool. I might want to pick that one up. Maybe they'll have some interesting things in there. And there was a interesting tidbit that
Did you say Marvel?
Yeah.
Marvel's releasing a Mandalorian.
Yeah, well, Disney owns Marvel and Star Wars.
Okay.
So,
you didn't know that Star Wars comics were a thing?
I don't want to say this part.
No, when he said Marvel and I hear Star Wars, if you would have said Disney's releasing a Star Wars comic, I would have understood that. But when he said Marvel, I was like, wait a minute.
Right. So yes, there is a universe in which Alien, Predator, The Mandalorian, and Elsa can all be in one comic. I'm here. So it's the cover is just Elsa holding a thermal detonator and just saying "Let it go."
Yeah,
you know how
Nabooleans.
I've never seen
Naboolean.
Awesome. Can't
Naboolean starfighter. Yep.
So Jon Favreau, there was this thing came out on TikTok. Don't know how credible it is, but apparently there were issues with The Mandalorian, with senior leadership at Disney coming in and trying to make fundamental changes to the show. There's a very big pivotal moment that happens at the end of season 2. It's very important that this thing happens. And then you get Book of Boba Fett, and that's kind of thrown to the wayside. Now, those of you who have seen the show probably know what I'm talking about. But this apparently trickled down to where Jon Favreau was saying, F it, I don't want to do this. I'll just walk away. I think if there's one guy in the entertainment industry right now that you don't want having that attitude, it's Jon Favreau. Like, that guy has done nothing but create hit after hit after hit in everything that he's touched. The new Marvel universe, Happy Hogan, he directed Iron Man 1.
Yeah,
he brought us that, kicked everything off. And then now he comes over and creates Mandalorian with Dave Filoni. And that thing has been a cultural phenomenon, especially for Star Wars fans. It's been huge. And you're going to go in, and I truly feel like this is a big marketing thing, right? Like, the big story is around, everybody knows Baby Yoda or Grogu and his presence on the show. And I think at this point in the show, he's not supposed to be there anymore.
He shouldn't be.
I don't think he should be. But they bring him back.
There, yeah.
Why? Because he's cute as shit, and everybody wants to see little Grogu.
To me, that's annoying because
it's annoying.
You should just let him have his vision. You know what I mean? Like, he's made you all this money, done this great thing, and you're gonna come up down here and be like, you know what? But where's the little green baby? Put him back in there. We like that green baby.
The first question I'd be asking this Disney executive is this. Did you learn nothing from DC?
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what Warner Brothers did to Zack Snyder. And they took his vision for the Justice League. They took his vision for Batman and Superman, and they turned it into something they wanted it to be, when Zack Snyder is a proven genius when it comes to that particular content. And that entire franchise folded.
Yeah.
We now have a new DC.
You know, and when some of these folks get involved, it's like, why don't we figure out why you're the executive and he's the content creator?
Exactly.
Like, let the storyteller tell the stories, because if you start telling stories by your marketing team, you're going to be in trouble, because you're going to lose a lot of these rabid fans, because they're going to see it. Like, when the new Star Wars kicked off, I had no interest in watching it for the silliest reason. One, the little porg things. Penguin hamster mutoids. I was like, oh, they're just pushing Star Wars in my face. It's not about the Force. It's not about the story. It's not about furthering Star Wars lore. It's about it's another cute thing we can sell while throwing relics from the past in your face, like Lando Calrissian, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca. All they want to do is find all the old shit that the parents love to talk about, and they've been telling stories to their kids about for years, and said, well, we'll throw them back on screen. Throw a couple of cute little monsters in there that we can sell for $30. And it just bugs me. And I went off on a tangent, and I don't feel bad about it.
Tangent at 28:25.
I mean,
it ruins shows, though.
Am I wrong, though?
No,
you're 100%. You're 100% right, because the sequel trilogy was complete trash. It makes the prequel trilogy worth watching again.
And you know what's sad about that is, like, there are some really amazing actors and actresses in that series.
Yeah,
really excellent
100%.
people that could have probably had a really great vision for where Star Wars could go, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're bringing Han back." I'm like, "What? Why?"
Yeah,
I mean, can we not get anything new?
No, we can't.
To be honest with you, the entire sequel trilogy was just a regurgitation of the regular trilogy. It was a person that had no idea about the Force, was a piece of shit from some desert planet. All of a sudden, they're mastering the Force by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
You got all the old people trying to teach them the way of the Force. You got a couple deaths, death to an old guy at the end of the movie, and then away we go with a new trilogy.
Yeah.
It was the same shit.
It really was. I mean, there were some fundamental differences to this sequel trilogy as opposed to the original trilogy, but it's pretty damn close. It's pretty damn close. Now, whether that's by design or not, I don't know, but there's a lot of different things. And look at the most successful things that Star Wars has done. They don't have any of those characters. Like Rogue One, barring 30 seconds at the end, it's a completely untold story.
Yep.
Mandalorian, completely untold story. You get into that entire culture and you learn that you're the guy that you thought would be their patriarch Boba Fett is not even a Mandalorian. So you learn so much, and it's just, I don't know. We've got more stuff to talk about. So let's go ahead and take a break because we're jumping back into a little bit of Star Wars on the other side, in the gaming side. So we'll see you guys on the other end of this. And we're back. Oh my goodness. Star Wars, like I said, we just left off at Star Wars. Let's get back into it. Gaming. Star Wars Jedi Survivor's director says that they want to make a trilogy out of Cal, the hero for that series. They want to make a trilogy about his story. Thoughts? What does your dog think about it?
Oh, my dog is obviously freaking out right now, so but it'll work to a certain extent because this storyline takes place after Order 66 but before the original trilogy.
Right.
You only have so much time in between those two time periods. I mean, it's the same thing with an Obi-Wan sequel to season 1. It's doable, but it's going to be very hard to do because eventually you run out of storyline.
Here's my favorite thing too, is that every single sequel or prequel or whatever has to at some point throw Darth Vader in there. I'm like, listen, what were Darth's gas bills to get all over the galaxy at all times?
Yeah, he is all over the place.
He is literally everywhere.
Bro, just use the Force.
Hey, how fast is that ship? About 300 horsepower. There in no time, baby.
Choke a bitch from across the room.
I just throw some midi-chlorians in there. They're premium. We'll get across the galaxy.
I get there in 11 parsecs. Fuck what Han Solo talking about.
100 parsecs. Vowels going backwards.
Hey,
Jeez Louise.
But the thing with Darth, though, is, I mean, the argument is there, a very strong argument, that he is the greatest villain that has ever been created.
I agree.
So there is an element of, well, let's fucking throw Darth in here and see how it goes.
What right, because there it is, right? The stakes are never higher than when Darth shows up.
And we just talked about this a couple minutes ago. Rogue One, he was in Rogue One. It was only for 60 seconds, and it was an incredible scene.
Yeah.
And that's all we needed of Darth in that movie.
I mean, everything that Darth touches, and I've never seen anything with him that I was like, that was bad.
Yeah.
Right? Like, truly, I'm sitting here trying to think of a more iconic villain than Darth Vader. What do you got for me?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to beat. Like, even in Marvel and all these characters we have, it's hard to beat Darth.
The only one I could think of is a Soviet from Rocky IV. That's it.
Yeah. Sure.
Ivan Drago is he's gonna kill everybody.
He is a pretty imposing villain, but not as bad as Darth, in my humble opinion. When Han shows up with the blaster and Darth is like, "Oh, hey, gotcha," and just like catching the laser blast, I was like, "Okay." I
mean, honestly, Darth is what really saved Obi-Wan's series at first.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so slow the first 3-4 episodes of that series, and then Darth shows up and starts doing Darth shit, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
all right. When he brought the ship down,
when the ship was flying away, and he was like, "Oop, got your nose," and it just stopped. I was like,
and ripped the entire quarter panel off of it.
Yeah, so for when stuff like that happens, the otherworldly stuff, I just need a cutaway camera to one of the crew members where there's like, Darth, you grabbed our ship. We're stuck. A guy is
shouldn't happen.
There's a guy with space magic who's just kind of got us.
Hey, who's the dude in the all black? Yeah. Shit.
Only thing that can take down Darth is a tickle fight. But nobody's brave enough to get him.
Or a penny for a book of matches.
There it is. I would like to see that story, honestly. I'd love to see some new Star Wars stuff that's new and a ridge.
Well, it's also for a video game, so it's a different universe, which I'm okay with trying to make new shit happen. You know, even if they stretch the storylines a little bit, it's for a video game. It's not like it's a movie or a television show that's going to really ruin the continuity.
That doesn't matter to me, typically. Like, unless you're changing big fundamental differences in the story. Like Last of Us, we watched the recap after every episode. They're like, "This is what we changed." I'm like, I don't care that you changed this.
Yeah, no.
That means literally nothing. You're still telling the same story. But anyway, Microsoft's getting talked to about this Activision-Blizzard acquisition, which is still moving right along. Thank goodness.
As it fucking better.
Speaking of Activision-Blizzard, guys, Diablo 4, the beta is March 17th and 19th, and then there is a separate date. I think it's the 24th and the 26th. So 2 weekends this month to be able to watch that or play that Blizzard Diablo 4 beta, which I will be there.
Luckily, that's not on a Monday. Otherwise, we would not have an episode again.
I was going to say, yeah, don't try to talk. Unless you're on a headset, don't bother.
It's funny because we, as a group, the three of us, have not talked a lot about Diablo outside of this podcast. But the fact that you guys know that shows my obsession and lets me know that I have a problem. But I don't.
Can you at least let us know that you're alive each day so we don't have to put an APB out for you?
No.
Bro, you're talking to the guy, the Monster Hunter, who went ham. The Division, I went super ham.
Yeah, big time.
Full piggy.
Division, super ham, big time.
So I understand, especially because you guys were waiting for forever too. When was the last time Diablo came out?
Good God, it was announced 3 years ago? It feels like.
Yeah, but I mean, Diablo 3 came out 2015, 14?
Yeah, a long time.
You've been scouring the internet like a QAnon radical for any kind of detail that you could possibly get.
Yeah. I'm like, look, this restaurant sells Diablo sauce. I wonder if I ask around.
Oh, if I buy the sauce, do I get access to the beta?
And I've been subtly hinting to all my gamer buds, Rhino included. I'm like, Diablo is it's coming out. I want you to know, if you want to play video games with me, you need to pick up Diablo.
Sir, this is a wing house.
Doesn't matter. That's his Batman suit. When's Diablo 4 coming out?
Where's Diablo 4? Right.
Where is it?
Oh my gosh, I will be that guy. I have it pre-downloaded whatever I could. I was just like looking to see if I could download anything from Diablo 4 onto my Xbox.
That's another cool thing that I love now, that you can download a game before it actually comes out.
Yes.
That is awesome.
I have it downloaded on 2 of my Xboxes currently.
Jesus.
So when I'm ready to go to bed, I can just switch it over.
It's like, it's go time.
But they were talking about splitting up Activision and Blizzard because obviously 2 giants in the industry currently, despite the issues happening at Activision Blizzard. And they say that split up just isn't realistic. So they were talking about, why don't you only buy Blizzard or why don't you only buy Activision? And they were like, no.
Let's see. I've got $70 billion and you can fuck off and I can buy whatever I want with my money. How about that?
I could not agree any more with that statement.
You know, I'm going to laugh hysterically if they break up the companies and then still end up acquiring both of them.
Yeah.
So, like, what the fuck was the point of all this?
Right.
But see,
it's just to try to appease the gaming commission or whoever that's suing them.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's like, oh, they got both, but they split them up, right? All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard is the same thing anyways. It's one company.
It is.
They just absolve.
Which, by the way, makes it even more ridiculous to tell them to split it up. It was one entity when they went into it to buy them.
Yeah.
Why split it up now?
There's no point.
It's going to continue to be one entity whether Microsoft buys it or not.
And there's letters of intent. There's all kinds of stuff that happen that you're just going to have to. They're not going to be able to go back and redo that deal because Blizzard's not going to go, oh, so you're only going to pay us $35 billion now for half of our company? Great, thanks. No.
Yeah.
The full sell is going through, and I completely agree with Ryan. Why? Because fuck you. That's why. That would be my answer. Why are you buying both? Because fuck you. That's why.
Yeah. Because I write the checks here.
I had the $70 billion and they asked me for $70 billion for that. So I gave them my $70 billion and they're going to give me the product. That's how that works.
It's like when you go to McDonald's next week, split up the chicken nuggets and the fries.
Yeah.
Buy them in 2 different transactions.
We don't want you to own these 2 things. You can buy them separately and then yes, you'll still own them, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Don't do the meal. Don't do the meal.
Yeah. Hogwarts Legacy sold 12 million units in 2 weeks.
That's pretty damn good.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's incredible, actually.
The game is pretty damn good.
God, that game is so good, dude.
And I think we are just scratching the surface with how well this game did. If they just gave you the wizarding world and took it away from Hogwarts, oh my goodness, then they could write their own stories. They could do whatever they wanted.
There's definitely going to be some major expansions with how well this game is done. There's got to be major expansions done to it.
I don't see why they wouldn't. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It has been my my calm down game at the end of the night when we're playing some competitive Fortnite or whatever, Black Ops, not Black Ops. What's the game I'm looking for? Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Yeah.
Same thing. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go play Hogwarts. See ya.
It's almost up there with God of War for me.
It's a great game. I mean, I think you'll enjoy it if you like single player. It's so easy to pick up. They came up with a mode in this game that is a one button push mode. So if you are not really into games and you don't want to worry about the 8 buttons that are in there, there's a mode of this game to whatever the action is that you need to do, press the one button and it'll do it. You want to get on the broom? Get on the broom with the same button as throw in the Expelliarmus or whatever it is. So, I mean, if you are into this game, this is the time to jump in and try it.
They've made it very easy for non-gamers to get into gaming with this game, because there's a lot of people out there that were huge Harry Potter fans. I mean, I've seen it on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, like videos of people literally going out to buy a PS5 or an Xbox just so they can play this game.
Yep.
Stupid.
It's been great.
But it's awesome.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it. But yeah.
Here, speaking of things I won't do, Pokemon, Niantic, the company that owns Pokemon Go, has told people to avoid a public park if you did not purchase a $30 pass for their game.
Listen, I'm going to go take a shit in this park while playing.
Next to the biggest gym you've got.
Yeah, while playing this game, I'll clear that motherfucker out in 5 minutes.
He's going to walk away from the turd and go, catch that.
But people are still playing Pokemon Go.
Big time.
Apparently religiously. I mean, it's still as big of a game now as it was when it first came out.
And a lot of people make good money streaming that game.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was possible, but they have the camera going and then simultaneously capturing their screen on their phone, and people just love watching it. I don't know.
I never got the appeal. I have not played literally a second of that game.
Pokemon Go?
I've never even downloaded it.
Well, I didn't know this until you started tweeting at these people for Marvel Snap. That's another huge streaming game, apparently.
Yeah.
People will play that on Twitch and those platforms. Marvel Snap.
What I don't understand about the Marvel Snap guys is they'll see one card and go, oh, they're running this deck. And I'm like, how do you know that? I don't know what they're running unless it's a destroy deck. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Detective Pikachu has found a director, Jonathan Chryselvis, who did Portlandia and the movie Baskets. I don't know anything about him. All I know is Detective Pikachu, the first one, was a great movie.
Yeah, it was really good.
I don't care if you like Pokemon or not. It was just an entertaining movie, flat out.
Yeah. A lot of good humor in there for both parents and kids.
Yep. I'm excited to see it. It's one that we loved watching with the kids, and I've watched solo when I was bored and had nothing else to do. It's a great movie.
Plus, it's Ryan Reynolds, dude. I could watch him read a phone book.
Yep. Yeah. He would make it entertaining. Last bit of information coming out from the gaming sector. Mortal Kombat 12 is coming in 2023.
I've got no interest.
So
I've got no interest for this game.
Get over here at high def, and I don't get the how is this franchise?
What's going to be new about this game that wasn't in the last 3 or 4 games?
Graphics and DLC characters. Those are the 2 things. Mark my words. It'll have
then just
maybe a fundamental change or look to one of the iconic characters, and then maybe some new DLC characters, right?
There's never any good story modes in those games, though. It's the same shit every time.
The story's ridiculous, right? You fight somebody, you rip their spine out, and they show up in the next game.
Yeah.
Or they show up in the next sector of the game you're already playing.
Yeah.
I forget. There was one that I actually played for Xbox that was really good. The story mode. I actually like that a lot.
Mortal Kombat 10? I think that's the one it was. Was that the one?
I know which one he saw. Are you talking about the one with the cemetery where you could unlock shit with the coins in the cemetery?
I think so.
That's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
No.
This one's it was 7 or 6. It was the original one.
It's an older one where you had like a actual character that you created like yourself.
Yep.
And you got all the moves and stuff. That one was actually pretty.
That's. I think that was the original Xbox.
Does that for you too?
No, it was the OG Xbox.
Yeah.
360 anyway.
Yeah. Well, hey, well, let's check it out. See if it's gonna be any good. Marvel. Let's get into Marvel, shall we? A lot of stuff to talk about.
Do it, God.
Best news I've heard all off season for Marvel. Elizabeth Olsen says she wants to come back as the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
I think that's a subtle way of saying that she is coming back as a Scarlet Witch.
There's no way she died. If you know your
No.
comics and you know the situation, you saw what happened in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, there's no way.
Hey, bro. They're telling their own story. This isn't the comics.
The beautiful thing is, you're right. You're right.
She could be dead.
The beautiful thing is, she says that Feige comes to each individual actor and says to them, "Where do you want to see this character go?" and gives them input in it. And he asked Elizabeth Olsen this, and she said, "All I know is I want to come back. I don't want to stop playing Scarlet Witch." And she has come from kind of like a, really, they're doing this with Scarlet Witch. I'm happy to have her, but they're really going to have her not be Magneto's daughter, to I need more Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch. I don't care what the story is.
No, that one still kind of grinds my fucking gears.
Yeah, but you know what? As a character where they've changed her backstory up dramatically.
Yeah.
As a character like that, she is probably the best character that they've done.
Yeah.
Where the story is different from the comics.
I don't disagree. I still think that it has been an exceptional storytelling for her. Like I think that even though they've changed it a little bit, she has done a great job with it.
Yeah, and I mean, as powerful as she is, you can't just let her walk away. You can't just say, "Oh, she's dead."
Right, when she, in sense, hasn't done anything yet, right?
Yeah,
like she really hasn't.
I'd like to see her get her own standalone movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. But to what end?
Well, I mean, you would incorporate other people. You could incorporate Doctor Doom in it. You could incorporate other people from the wizard and witch genre of Marvel.
Yeah.
You could incorporate the Avengers in it again. I mean, actually, a great storyline for her would be the mutants. No more mutants.
Oh yeah, that's what is that? What is that storyline?
It's House of M, isn't it?
House of M. But what's the X-Men versus Avengers?
Which one?
Anyway, yeah. There was another great story. I'm gonna look for this while we're talking about it. But they broke the potential plot for Captain America, New World Order, and I can't seem to find it right now. But I want to get back to that. I know we sent it in one of our chats. If somebody could find that for me. If you were a big fan of Hawkeye, which I know not a lot of people who aren't actual Hawkeye fans were, the musical that you see in Hawkeye is coming to Disneyland this summer. So if you want to go see that show, it's actually going to be a thing.
I just sent it to you, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So I want to read this because it's wild and it's going to lead into our next story. So here is the synopsis for Captain America. This is a rumored synopsis, but I believe it comes from Marvel Entertainment Universe. So here we go. Captain America New World Order will follow an international conflict over a new metal called adamantium. Hey,
Unobtainium?
that sounds familiar. Unobtainium. Oh, boy. Discovered on Tiamat, who from Eternals was the Celestial trying to get out of the planet that ended up getting frozen and died, whatever, out there in the middle of the Atlantic. Celestial from the Eternals, which is now an island. Each country wants a piece of that new metal and claims the island as its own. Harrison Ford's Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who is now president, is the movie villain who wants to reclaim the island and the adamantium at all costs. And Sam Wilson's Captain America, in typical Captain America fashion, gets in his way by trying to stop him by assembling a new group of heroes, including the new Falcon. To oppose Captain America will be some fighting some other villains who are also trying to get their hands on the adamantium.
Hold on.
So the rumor.
You mean he's not going to be flying around no more?
Who?
Captain America.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
But
he won't be the Falcon, quotation fingers, the Falcon. But the rumor behind all of this is that we're going to get the West Coast Avengers.
Sick. That would mean that before that comes out, we would get Wonder Man.
What's say?
Wonder Man. So apparently Shang-Chi is supposed to make an appearance in this. White Vision is supposed to make an appearance in this.
This is going to
other
be
people we haven't seen yet.
An Avengers level movie is what this is going to be.
I mean, I have a feeling they're going to do it kind of like Civil War, where Civil War was Avengers 2.5.
Sure, and I think we're going to get a Red Hulk in that movie.
If we don't see it in Captain America, we definitely see it in the Thunderbolts, because Thaddeus Ross is apparently in the Thunderbolts as well.
For sure. I mean, that's going to be wild. I think there's going to be a lot of great stuff coming. But the reason I said that I wanted to talk about another story after that is because Hugh Jackman is talking about his portrayal as Wolverine in Deadpool 3. He says he is going to play multiple versions of Wolverine in Deadpool.
This changes things up about what we thought the movie was going to be like.
Yeah.
Like, is it the buddy cop movie we thought, where, you know, a Logan is following Deadpool around, or does he just come across different Wolverines in different timelines?
I think it could be the latter. I think it is still, actually, I think it's a buddy cop where they are still trying to eliminate different variants of themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm here for that. But if adamantium is in play, that means our future Wolverine will soon be in play.
Well, we've already gotten shout outs, hints at a Wolverine.
Yep.
We saw that in
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, man with metal claws gets in a bar fight.
Yeah.
So he's out there. I would have to assume if this island, if it's truly about adamantium, I would have to assume we see him there.
And I have to assume this could even be an introduction of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Because Tiamat, they could rename that as a different island, and that could be where the X-Men call their home base.
Yeah, eventually that's what Tiamat could end up being, is their island. I can't remember the name of the island either, but
me either, but it's gonna be dope. It's huge. The Celestial was massive.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of room to get a Starbucks out there on his abdomen. Other casting rumors of people who might show up. Tom Holland is rumored to appear in Across the Spider-Verse. I need him to show up, and I need him to not be a voice. I need a live action Tom Holland to show up with the animated Miles Morales.
That'd be dope.
So
that's what I want.
You think that could be one of the multiverses that he travels to?
100%.
Yep. I think that would be awesome.
You said you cut out. You don't think it would be awesome? Did we lose you, Rhino?
Oh no, I said I think it would be awesome.
Yeah, did you hear him cut out?
Yeah, he cut out on my end too.
What?
Yeah, no, I think that would be incredible. I would love to see that. Just the 8,000 walls breaking at the same time. I would love to see that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just that one time you had a little ping there. But anyway, yeah, let's get into some of this Ant-Man news. Now, this is being received very strangely, in my opinion. It's been about 3 weeks since Ant-Man's been out, so we're going to talk about it. We may talk about a couple of plot points. I don't know what you're going to want to hear or what not to hear, but we're going to be diving into it a little bit. So if you don't want to hear anything about Ant-Man yet, if you haven't gone out to see it, now's your chance to probably jump off the train. So without further ado,
tuck and roll.
You're leaving, we love you. We'll see you next week, but let's talk about it. Okay. Ant-Man 3 has tied Eternals for the worst Rotten Tomatoes score in the MCU. Is that valid? Is that warranted?
No.
Who was super hard on the Eternals? For me, almost, yeah.
Yeah?
I really thought Ant-Man was terrible.
Wow. Okay.
I think there's a much higher standard that has been set for MCU production, whether it be television or whether it be in movies. I really think Infinity War and Endgame, I'm not going to say ruined it, because we're going to get features that are awesome and get reviewed very well in the near future. But Infinity War and Endgame really set a bar that's going to be unobtainable by your normal movie. We have got to stop comparing every single MCU picture that comes out to those two movies, because we may not get two more movies like that ever again.
I don't think we will.
But I don't think a lot of people are even comparing them to those movies. For me, just as a standalone movie, man, it just wasn't good.
I know, but what's your standard though?
Yeah.
When you're critiquing Ant-Man, what's the standard that you use to critique Ant-Man?
Was it entertaining? Like if I was just a regular person going to see this, you know what I mean?
But you're comparing it to prior MCU movies that you love, though.
No, not really, because I go in. That's why I don't watch.
Therein lies your problem. It's hard to compare the 34th movie in a lineage to like Weekend at Bernie's. The two different animals there.
I mean, I don't know how to explain that. Like, I do kind of like not really compare, but I'm like, okay, well, this was better, but like,
first of all, let me clarify. Your opinion is not incorrect. You are entitled to your opinion. If you don't like it, you don't like it. There's no way to split it.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's fine. There's a lot of people out there that don't like the movie, and I didn't want you to feel like we're saying no. You shouldn't feel that way because you absolutely can.
No. Your opinion is very valid. I'm not saying that. I just think that the vast majority of people who are looking at Ant-Man saying that it's a bad movie, and I'm probably suspect of this myself. We put Infinity War and Endgame on a pedestal, and everything that has come out since then, it's like, oh man, that didn't hit home the way Endgame did. That didn't hit home the way Infinity War did, and it's not fair to the features that come out because they're not going to be Infinity War Endgame.
Yeah. See, for me personally, like I don't care for Endgame. To me, the Avengers and Civil War are two of my favorite movies out of like the MCU,
right?
So like
two great movies,
and they're like they were entertaining. Like I said, I just like the entertainment factor. Like if I was a person who didn't know anything about this, sat down and watched this movie, I would like it. But Ant-Man, I sat down, know what's about to happen. I'm good. I have no idea. This is just, and then it just drug.
Like I said, to me, it was the tale of two movies. I thought it started off on pace to 100% agree with everything you're saying, every single thing. And then Jonathan Majors pulled it from the depths to be a good movie. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that Ant-Man is the best movie I've ever seen, but I would watch Ant-Man 3 10 times before I got through the first 10 minutes of Eternals again. I just wasn't a fan of Eternals. I just wasn't. I mean, it's just different. But the thing that I think that we suffer from too is we're always trying to compare these movies to other movies, and I was a victim of that. I was doing the same thing, watching the movie, going, "Oh, well, they're in space. This looks like Guardians," or "They're here. Okay, this looks like Asgard." And then you see all the inhabitants of the quantum realm, and I'm like, "What are they trying to be, Star Wars?" I needed to stop trying to compare this movie to everything else I've seen and put it on a pedestal of a finished product and just take it for the movie that it was. And when I finally did that and I allowed it to just be its own thing, it was a damn good movie.
Man, it still sucks. You just like Jonathan Majors.
I do like Jonathan Majors.
Oh man, I love Jonathan Majors.
He crushed that performance. But here's the same thing. I'll say it like this, not to put them on the same pedal or call them equals here, because I think to me, this other individual has the greatest comic performance of all time, but it's like the Heath Ledger with that Batman. Christian Bale didn't have to be great. He didn't have to be exceptional because Heath Ledger was in that movie and he carried that thing. Even despite the fantastic performances that were already in the movie, he carried that thing. And Jonathan Majors has a similar performance in Ant-Man. Like Paul Rudd can only do so much with what that movie has to work with. And then Jonathan Majors, I felt, came in and crushed it. I don't think it's worthy of the worst Rotten Tomatoes score in MCU history. Has anybody seen Daredevil? With Ben
Daredevil's not MCU though.
Fantastic Four from 1987, because we have.
No, I haven't. But even like I said, Daredevil was even entertaining in some aspects of it. You know what I mean? It's one of the first times you had on the big screen. You had Michael Clark Duncan.
I was about to say Michael Clark Duncan.
You had Colin Farrell. I mean, you had some names in that movie that kind of made up.
I can name some movies that I would rather watch Ant-Man over in the MCU. I mean, I would take Ant-Man over Eternals. Obviously, I would take him over Love and Thunder. I would take it over Iron Man 3.
Take it over Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda, both Black Panthers, to be honest with you. I was not a fan of either Black Panther, so I would take Ant-Man 3 over both of them.
At 10502, blatant racism. Write it down.
We're not even in. It's March 6th, man. Relax.
Terrible, bro.
No, I don't feel like those were that great. I don't know. And here's the other thing that starts coming out now is this is just weird. Ant-Man visual effects artists claim that human greed led to the visual effects problems in Ant-Man because Wakanda Forever was prioritized and at the top of the list, and all the money and the resources went into that. I couldn't tell you the difference. I couldn't like look at it and go, oh yeah, that's where it's so much better. VFX or VFX.
Yeah, but at the same time, bro, listen, it's Disney. Y'all don't. Is your money end? Does it end?
No. Disney's already made over $1 billion at the box office this year.
I mean,
this year.
Small indie film or somebody like
sure.
We only had a budget of
like
$20 million.
They just dropped The Way of Water, which is the third highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah. Well, wait, what? We need a little more special effects. Hey, just go bring them another $100 million, bro.
That's it.
Whatever.
The only thing that I didn't like, and you made this point, and I think you might be right. I might just be nitpicking this. The only thing that didn't look good for the VFX was MODOK. I thought he looked like shit.
Terrible.
Now I don't know how you would make it better, but I don't know how you would make it better, but it wasn't good.
You can pour syrup on shit that don't make it pancakes. He is just not a visually appealing character. He's not easy to create. Honestly, they should have left the fucking metal mask on him.
Yeah,
fine.
We didn't need to see Darren's face at all at any point.
No.
But what if I just ate pancakes and then shit? Does that still make it pancakes?
No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, I don't know. I just think Ant-Man's getting a bad rep. I'm not going to sit here and put it on the same pedestal as Avengers or Civil War or, any of the other Ant-Man movies, to be quite honest with you, because Ant-Man 1 and 2 are at the top of my list.
They're dope.
I love those movies.
And I think that was kind of its detriment to itself too. Was like you have the other ones that were pretty good. Yeah. And a lot of people went in not expecting much, and then
I think another thing too with Ant-Man 3 is there's going to be some developments that come out, whether it be in newer series or newer movies, in the near future, that are going to make Ant-Man that much better.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of untold with Ant-Man 3 that we don't know the outcome to yet. So that movie is probably going to end up being better in hindsight here in about a year or two.
Listen, it could absolutely be a classic. I mean, there have been some absolutely dog shit movies out there that have become cult classics, and Ant-Man could certainly be that just because of how weird it is. You sent me a TikTok today right before we started recording of the fact that I missed this. I wasn't looking at it at all, but somebody who's seen that movie way too many times noticed that there are 6 sentient walking Infinity Stones in the quantum realm.
And then for those of you playing at home, what happened to the Infinity Stones?
Right, and so they play that clip at first where Black Widow is interrogating Thanos and says, "What did you do with the stones?" And he says they were reduced to atoms. So clearly, he sent them to the quantum realm somehow, and so then. And you're watching these little indigenous people. There are 6 little Infinity Stone people walking around in the quantum realm. It's kind of cool.
And there's actually, I think there's a little bit more of a story behind that, because if we all remember correctly, in Endgame, the Ancient One is talking about if a certain timeline does not have its Infinity Stones, then that timeline goes to shit.
Yeah.
So they still got to be there somewhere.
The timeline, the time stones specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what they're going to end up doing with that. But I think right now, as I said, that Ant-Man could be the greatest trilogy that Marvel has had. This movie, Quantumania, did not keep them in the running.
No.
I think Guardians is primed to steal that one and run away with it.
If I had to give the nod to the greatest trilogy right now, it would be Captain America, hands down. Ooh. Right now. This is before Guardians 3 comes out, but right now, outside of Avengers movies, Captain is the best trilogy.
So you're talking about First Avenger, Winter Soldier, and Civil War. I can't argue that. They're good movies.
I don't really care for the first one.
You don't care for Tommy Lee Jones? Yeah, that one was boring to me.
That's my thing.
It was a little boring.
But 2 and 3, I mean, those are 2 of the best movies the MCU has.
Oh yeah,
Winter Soldier is up there with some of those Avenger movies with how good it is as a solo.
Yeah, those are ones that I actually go back and actually watch more than any of the other solos.
Yep.
Oh, for
I'll
sure.
put on Civil War. I'll put on.
Yeah, if I've got a couple of TVs going, one of them's going to have Civil War on, just because of the entrance of T'Challa and just so many good person.
Now, if it weren't for Ragnarok, I would have given that to Thor easily, but Ragnarok really kills that for me.
Yeah.
What about Love and Thunder?
Oh, don't even bring that up.
So that's going to do it for us here at the Alter Ego. No, but seriously, I think right now, I think you're right. Cap is definitely there, and the fact that that's ended when Cap 4 comes out with New World Order, I think that has a chance to be the first 4 movies that are going to be top of any series.
Yep, I agree.
But we'll see. I think up next is what? Up next is Guardians in May. Or
we're gonna get the series Secret Wars,
Secret Invasion, or
Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion, excuse me.
When does Secret Invasion come out?
I thought that was supposed to be here in the next month or so.
Let's look. Let's Google it as we leave. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to watch the Alter Ego podcast. I've been your host, Jack Austin. With me, as always, Mr. Ryan, Mr. Rhino. You can find us, even though I pointed in the wrong direction on camera. We'll do this next time. You can find us on social media at Alter Ego Pod on Twitter, at Alter Ego Pod on Instagram, Facebook, Alter Ego Podcast, or you can email us at alteregopodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And you'll probably see this on the feed. We are doing TikTok as well. So stop by and say hi.
Oh, snap.
Got him excited. Got him excited. I don't know where I'm
I like a good TikTok every now and again.
I'll indulge.
Is that the Tic Tac?
That Tic Tac?
That's what my mom calls it. Shout out to my ma.
Episode 138. We'll see you guys around.